Hello everybody, this is me Amin.
And this is Alex.
And welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. So today is the 24th of November, Thursday. And if you know what happened today was the day that we have our 10th Prime Minister. So a big congratulations to Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim. Finally, all the cloud of uncertainty has been blown away and we now have a new Prime Minister. Hopefully, it's for the better. Hopefully, things will be better for all Malaysians moving forward. Why I mentioned that is because we're not going to talk about the new Prime Minister, of course, but we're going to talk about what happened to the build-up of today, right? The 24th of November. And right after the elections, we saw really weird things happening on social media. We saw a number of really odd postings on social media, and it's about it's racially charged. It's quite sensitive and it's quite provocative. I mean, I would say these content was very dangerous. And it was talking about it was posted mostly on TikTok, and it was talking about calling the Malays and telling them to put up arms and go out and fight. And there was a lot of mention about this very infamous date in our history as a country, May 13th. So I mean, if you're too young to watch or if you don't know the history, May 13th was a black day in Malaysia when there was huge racial riots between the Chinese and the Malays, and a lot of people died, and it was just like a dark place in our history. And we don't want that to happen again. We discussed on whether we wanted to mention even about May 13, but I think we should, because those who forget history or don't know history are doomed to repeat it. So obviously we don't want that to happen again. It's not good for anybody. But there are obviously people who want to incite or just create problems or just stir shit up. And social media provides a huge platform for that and a huge audience for people who want to listen to such narratives. Now, the question that we're going to ask today is specifically on TikTok, right? So why did TikTok not do enough to stop such content from going on their platform? So what do you think? You want to start from the start?
Yeah, so as we all know, right, social media can be a very powerful tool to change the conversation and to create different narratives.
Influential,
right?
Right?
Very influential.
And it can affect elections.
Yeah, and especially like how social media works, right? It's like you're being served with, because of the algorithm, right? You're being served the content based on your interests. And if you're on the same group and same mindset, you'll be seeing the same messages. Because I don't think we've seen the messages, because unless you won't see these messages if you're not in the same category, same group based on algorithm. So we went back a bit back in October. So before the Malaysia's GE15 general election that falls on 19 November, TikTok has mentioned that they will ban GE15 ads in Malaysia. So political ads are not allowed on the platform, because they mentioned that they from their past experience in the Philippine election, US election, it can get very messy, especially when it comes to misinformation. So TikTok put a stance saying that, okay, you know what, we will not allow political ads for Malaysian GE15, which we think is good. It's good. At least you do not amplify misinformation, and because it's going to be hard to moderate. And whereas other platforms like Facebook and Instagram, they still allow it. And we thought, okay, maybe TikTok will be a better platform. But so happened that after the election, we've seen a lot of this content, and they're mostly created on TikTok. And we're wondering, what's this going on? Shouldn't this be moderated in the first place? Because we all know that TikTok has, I would say, the moderation is much better than Facebook. When you see anything weird, right, they can pull it down almost immediately. Because they have AI, they have actually human moderators in Malaysia, which understands local context. So they should be able to clamp down quickly. But we're still seeing it. And the question is, how did this happen?
Yeah. For me, I think you're right? So social media platform has the power to influence the outcomes of election. You saw that happening in the US with Donald Trump previously, and you saw that happening in the Philippines. And I think it's great that TikTok took a proactive stance to say, okay, you know what, we're going to keep our hands clean out of this, and we're not going to allow such content to happen. Ironically, it happened. And then the question is, how did it happen? And I think among all the social media platforms that we talk to, TikTok is the most responsive in terms of, okay, they provided a statement, and the statement answered the issue immediately, rather than, if you ask Facebook, if something like this happens on Facebook and you ask them, you get like a very
PR
standard response to say, oh, we have algorithms in place, we want to ensure that the place is safe, blah 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 blah, and that's it. But nothing has been done.
And after saying that, right, like 2-3 days later, the content's still up there.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if we mentioned in the previous episodes that, Facebook has been a breeding ground for scam ads.
Yeah.
Like, even government announced that, okay, these ads that misuses the Ministry of Health logo and emblem and all that, it's still running for a couple of days. Like, why can't Facebook pull it down? It's so clear that it's fake. And the longer they drag, right, the more people are misinformed, are being scammed into it.
Yeah, sometimes it takes Facebook weeks, and despite that, the ads still come up. And despite us asking, okay, why are these ads coming up? Despite us pointing to them like, okay, these are the ones that's coming up. Why is it not taken down? Is it an issue? They still give us a PR response. So we reported on the TikTok content issue. We're not going to share the content here because we can also be technically charged because we copy pasted and uploaded or reshared. So that could be illegal, and I think it's the right move. So like Alex mentioned, right, TikTok has moderators. The moderators are like they have two types. One is the robots, and the other one are people. How the system works is that, as far as I know, the system works like this. So the robots will tag content if it's inappropriate based on what they see on the screen, on the video, or what they hear. So the robots are trained to pick up visual as well as audio. So they might not understand the language, but they know the keywords and the patterns. So they'll pick that up, and it's tagged, and it goes into a queue. In that queue, you will get human moderators, and then the human moderators will then verify what the robot recommends this content to be tagged as, or they just say, no, this is safe. So as far as I know, because of the way that the May 13 or the sensitive content that's been posted on TikTok was done, the robots didn't detect it.
Yeah, if you put yourself in the robot shoe, right? I see this imagery. It looks like a history video, right?
Yeah.
And you just see random objects, but you don't feel the context. So you don't see. There's nothing wrong with it. Is it violent? There's no act of violence shown in the video.
Yeah.
Is there any hate messages? Not really, because it's very subjective, and it's not very clear.
Okay, I think without sharing the content, and if you haven't seen it, it's quite difficult for you to understand the context, right? So I'll try to describe a typical this typical racial video looks like. So there'll be people. There'll be like a music, right? They'll play one type of music. I don't remember what the song is.
Yeah, most of them are using the same track.
It's the same song.
Yeah.
And then there will be like a panning shot of weapons. Mostly it's keris, and then there's like a panning shot. Of parang and some knives and stuff like that. And then there's like a panning shot of the tanja. Very very Malay centric. And I'm Malay. I mean, I'm talking. I mean, I'm sensitive towards my culture, and I'm not saying that my people are racist or whatever. And this is just a small group, so please don't mark us as whatever lah, right?
Yep.
So we see that, and then it's words like, oh, don't forget May 15. Don't. I mean, I'm not. Is this not verbatim? I'm paraphrasing here. The one I saw was, oh, don't piss us off, because we're gonna go out and start a riot lah, but just be careful, watch what you say, watch what you do, this is our land. And obviously they didn't say it in English lah, they say it in Malay.
Yeah, but if you take the words individually, right, in silo, right, it seems harmless for the computer to flag.
So the okay, so why I'm describing it is because you're right, the robot will see weapons, and if I'm not mistaken, in terms of TikTok's guidelines, showing weapons, I mean, the showing off that you have a gun or you have, and in a historical or educational context, is fine.
It looks like historical video.
And it's not violent or anything, so it's fine. And I don't think the robot knows the context of May 13, and I'm not sure whether the programmers put in that word for that. So it kind of like makes me think that the people that are creating this, it seems to me that it looks random, but it feels like it's orchestrated. Why I say that is because first they use the same track. The script is kind of the same. The treatment of the video is kind of the same. And the other layer that was a bit shocking was apparently some of the videos were promoted, like were paid.
Like sponsorship content or partner content.
It's promoted
Yeah.
to allow more and more people to see it.
Yep.
So this episode is not to investigate on whether there's some like hidden hand behind orchestrating these people to post this content. The question here is, even if that happens, right, the platform mentioned that they were responsible to not allow such content to be available on their space.
Yep.
But it did happen. So
Yep.
the question is whether it's TikTok's mistakes or it was just somebody that really know how to game the algorithm.
From the looks of it looks like the second one. I think someone knows how TikTok works and the game system. Like, okay, if we do a content and we tread around these lines, right, we should be able to get this content out without being suspended. I think they're playing it smart because, like I said, right, if we put ourselves in the robot shoe, right, and look at this in isolation, right, it seems to be okay. Like there's no violent content. And it's only a person, a human being who understands the local context in Malaysia, then they will know. So anyway, what happened was that Zamira reached out to TikTok on Monday, and they issued a response at the end of the day. And this is a statement. At TikTok, we have zero tolerance against any form of hate speech and violent extremism. As it relates to the May 13 content, we quickly removed the videos which were in violation of our community guidelines. We also continue to be on high alert and we aggressively remove any violative content, including video, audio, live stream, images, comments, links, or other text. So I think, and rightly so, right, after they issue this statement, I think after that you search for content, a lot of them is gone.
Yep.
So it looks like they are taking proactive steps. So I guess it's more of training robot. Okay, robot. Okay, if you pure mention May 13 with this other combination to tighten the rules, then it's be removed.
Yeah, and credit where credit is due, right? TikTok did a great job in terms of really controlling this. They did a really good job. I think from the start, they did a really good job in being proactive to say that, okay, they're not a platform where political games will be played. Despite like a small country like Malaysia, right? I mean, they went out to be really proactive about this. I really commend them for that. On top of that, they responded to our questions in a very detailed and proactive manner. They gave us information what they're doing and what they plan to do, and that's really great. And it has context to our question. It's not just like a generic PR statement where it's not related to our question at all, like how we get on other platforms.
Yep.
And we see the content being removed really quickly. So I think that's great. I mean, if you were to do this on Facebook, for example, like I said, we've been covering like scam ads. Some of them have been using ministers' pictures, brands' pictures, and stuff like that. I've worked as a social media manager, and we tried to go out and say, hey, this is not right, blah, 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 blah. The ads still do come out. They keep mushrooming everywhere.
Yep.
It seems like people are more able to game the Facebook system, and it's more like Facebook doesn't care about it.
I think it's mostly doesn't care because if it's, okay, let's say for example it slips through the cracks, right? At least be proactive and remove the ads as soon as possible. You guys have Facebook, right? You should be able to have someone there who has the power to remove it, not leave it there running for days or weeks until perhaps the ad money is fully completed.
Yeah, it seems like it's indifferent, right? It's like, okay, whatever you want to do on our platform, go ahead. I'll just take your money. Money is money. Whether it's good money, bad money, money for bad things, money for good things, it's the same money. I'm just gonna take it.
Yeah,
that's what Facebook is doing. And from what I see, I don't see TikTok doing this. And from what I can see also, I see like TikTok has, it seems to me like TikTok's algorithm is more powerful, more like it knows you more. Yeah. Despite like I'm not on the platform all the time. TikTok is like my second least platform I use. The least platform I use is Twitter. I hate Twitter so much. No offense to anybody who's using Twitter. So despite me being not being a frequent TikTok user, it seems to me like the platform knows me.
Yeah, I think that's why they are popular right now because like we all know TikTok's algorithm, right? It's like based on what kind of video you continue watching, what kind of video you swipe, right? It can refine what really interests you in a very short amount of time. So let's say you just spend like 1 hour browsing through TikTok, you swipe, continue watching, swipe. It knows what kind of content and it know how to hook you to the system.
Yes,
as long as possible.
It's very good.
Even YouTube couldn't crack this. YouTube has YouTube Shorts, but algorithm is nowhere near as good as TikTok.
Yeah, the algo is powerful, and you don't even on other platforms like Facebook, for example. Again, the algo for the algo to understand you need to like comment or engage, right? You need to either engage
through
like or whatever, right? And then it will start serving you more content on that. On TikTok, just by hovering on the content and how long you hover on the content, whether you hover until the end or until finish, and whether you swipe and whether you engage, right?
Yep.
It already knows just by watching. You don't
Yep.
even have to do anything. Just by watching and swiping, it already knows what you like. And
Yep.
it does it so accurately, so quickly, and it's so scary. But it's good that, people can use this. I mean, the people at TikTok, the owners, ByteDance, can use this for bad. I mean, at the end of the day, they are a Chinese company. I don't know whether it's fair for me to say that, but there's a stigma lah,
Yep.
right? So, I mean, back then during Donald Trump's era, they wanted to ban TikTok because, it's like a security risk, blah,
Yep.
blah, 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 blah. But the way I see it, because there's nothing stopping the Chinese government from asking TikTok, and they don't know, and we don't know whether there's a backdoor for the Chinese government to just siphon that information that TikTok has
Yep.
and use it for whatever nefarious reasons that they want, that the Chinese government wants.
Just to be clear, it's not being racist. It's all about country, because at the end of the day, right, data is like a new weapon for potential war, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Data is very important right now.
Yeah, I mean,
so this one huge data point.
You can see
Yeah.
how Russians weaponize social media to
Yeah.
influence the conversation during the 2020 American elections, during the Donald Trump
Biden,
days.
yeah.
Not so
Before
much the
Biden.
Biden ones. I think
Before
because
that,
they
yeah.
learned that, and I think a lot of the people that are running the country, like I think the Department of Defense, they were on high alert after that. They found out that
It can be manipulated.
it can
yeah.
be manipulated in such a way. They
Yeah.
were surprised. But it also is a sign that, hey, they didn't disturb Facebook. They just let Facebook do what they wanted to.
Yep.
I mean, that's another extreme example in terms of, okay, that's a capitalist country and then we have a communist country. And the flip side is the communist country, instead of just like turning a blind eye and say, okay, do whatever you want, as long as you make money, you pay taxes, you're fine. It's like, okay, you have something that we want because we're a communist country. We can make your life difficult. Just give us the information.
Yep.
So we don't know whether that's happening. What I want to say is that TikTok, at the end of the day, despite the content being posted, I think there's not a lot of damage being done. They will still, like you say, right? It will appeal to the people that the algo think that it will appeal to.
Yeah.
So it's just speaking to
A certain group.
this group of people. And I think the circle of influence in that group of people is rather small now, considering how we have a new prime minister, considering how the votes turn out.
Yeah.
I can understand. I'm trying to empathize on that group of people. I can understand that losing sucks. I can understand that, they are angry or frustrated or whatever that they feel, and I can understand that they want to vent, and I can understand that, one way is to do this, right?
Yep.
Not just create the content, but go out and take matters in your own hands and to try to change the course of history. I can understand that. So what I'm trying to say is that the content came out and it appealed to these people, but I think TikTok responded so quickly that it popped out and then it disappeared.
Yeah.
And people are now just talking about other things.
Yeah, like we said, right? If this happened on Facebook, it won't be removed as fast as this.
Yeah, even on YouTube, this won't happen on Twitter lah. I mean, Twitter is just noisy.
Twitter, I think they're quite fast. Back then when they had more employees.
Yeah, now they don't even have a comms department. Okay, so we've talked about the responsibility of the platforms in making sure that the place is safe, but we cannot always just depend on the platforms. We are a sovereign country. We're Malaysia. We have authorities here and we have law. So, I mean, what power or jurisdiction does the law, the police and MCMC have over the platform?
Okay, so like I think for those who are not aware, we have this Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. So one of the terms is that if someone shares or uploads any content that can disrupt public order to cause fear and all that stuff, you can be charged. In fact, any violators can be fined up to 50,000 ringgit or put behind bars for a year or both. And when this video came out, right, MCMC wrote a press release and informed public that if you see any of this kind of content, please report it at adon.skm.gov.my. So a couple of people reported, and today, 24th of November, they issued another press release to provide an update, and they said that until today, 24th of November, they received like 101 reports on provocative messages, and most of them have been removed, and they actually thank TikTok and Instagram for their speedy response on taking this down after they're reported. And also for the police side, they said that the police has received 36 reports from the public, and 20 of them have been being settled through the administrative action, I guess, from the platform. And also 12 investigative papers have been opened and investigations are underway. And they also remind people, not to post or share this kind of content that can disrupt a public disorder and stuff like that. And also during the same period when the video came out, right, of course people are afraid because apparently some people say that, their uncle, aunties, especially from Chinese family, they say, hey, don't go out, dangerous. Because for us to say, like, come on, Malaysians not like that.
Yeah.
But I guess some people,
But
it went through those phases. The older groups, they went through the
yes.
phase and they're scared that the worst can happen and things can go down south very quickly.
Yes, you can go to shit very quickly.
Yeah, and at least kudos to the police. So what the police did was they create more omnipresence. So basically, you can see them.
That's why they have the roadblocks
Yes.
and stuff like that.
So basically, to tell public, you want to do anything funny, we're around here, we're closer.
Yeah, but it's kind of like it's a two-edged sword because the more police presence you see, you don't feel safe. You feel like, okay, shit is going down. You get what I'm saying?
I know. For me, right,
It's like-
omnipresence is supposed to be something that's been done on a daily basis.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like the police is everywhere anyway. I mean, I'm in Malaysia. If I go to the places that I go to, like, God forbid, I don't go to like dodgy places. I mean, anywhere in the world, if you go to a dodgy place, you're just asking for it lah. I mean, I'm not blaming the victim, but just don't go to dangerous places.
No,
lah.
I mean, talking about omnipresence, right, it should be present all the time.
But I see police everywhere. I see police helping people change tires, pushing cars to the roadside. I mean, for me, seeing that makes me feel safe.
Yes,
seeing police help other people makes me feel. But seeing roadblocks make me feel like, what is going on?
True, but I'm saying that in terms of omnipresence, as in more patrols, more visibility, at least that's something that's supposed to be done. Like, for example, you go to Singapore, even to New York, to London, you just go around tourist spots, right? You can see police walking around very freely, more patrol. At least you feel like, okay, at least anyone try to do anything funny, they know, okay, crap, there's a police around this corner.
I agree. But I think our police got their own way of doing things lah. Back to my question and your point. What is the police doing? I guess the police has been quite proactive.
Yep.
MCMC has been quite proactive. And I think also it's because TikTok has been very open to listening to all these people. And kudos to all of them.
And the biggest thing, they acknowledge a problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they did something about it.
Yep.
And we're not seeing the content anymore. So the takeaway from this is TikTok is a great social media platform. I mean, it's not just about people dancing around.
Yep.
I mean, we produce a lot of content on TikTok. It's a lot of informative and educational content. We do get a lot of views, so it's not just about dancing.
Yeah, correct. I think it's great. I mean, for me, it's that there's no such thing as a perfect platform. When things does happen like this, right? It's good to see they are more responsive. Their responsiveness towards the issue.
Yeah, and I think you should also not take the PDRM and MCMC's warning for granted. Okay, MCMC, I don't know lah, because I don't know. I mean, there was this one time, MCMC had their Twitter account taken away from them and they couldn't take it back or something.
That's a different funny issue. Yeah.
But for me, like, if MCMC cannot do that, right, Multimedia and Communications Commission can't do that, then nobody else it shows that they're powerless lah.
Speaking about powerless, right? I remember Anwar Musa, the caretaker, Mancom, yeah, he probably won't be when
your
this video's
favorite
out.
Mancom.
Yeah, so there's one time, right, about when people asked him about, how about content on Facebook and stuff like that, he said that, under the Communication Act, they cannot act on content that's hosted overseas. I mean, that's weak lah. Even CFM, the Consumer Forum Malaysia, asked them about these kind of ads on Facebook. They say they also can't act on content hosted overseas, which is quite bad lah. It's like, come on, if let's say people want to spread misinformation on an overseas platform, we are totally powerless. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I feel that something needs to be done, especially with the new government. They should tighten the laws to address this.
Okay, I think that's another double-edged sword because what I wanted to say was before you made that, but I'll come back to that is, I mentioned about police and MCMC, right? So what I want to say was that you don't mess with the police lah. In the way that you think that the police is incompetent, I think there's cyber, not to say cyber crime in terms of the scams. The scams, I think, even the FBI cannot do anything lah, to be honest, because you willingly give your money to people.
Yep.
Don't expect it to come back lah.
But for me, it's the platform. What's holding the platform accountable? Like, for example, if anyone behaves like TikTok, fine. But what if companies like, for example, Facebook, like, who doesn't act fast enough, the longer they delay, more people will fall victim. That's the problem.
Yeah, so that's the law, right? So that's a good point, and I'll come back to that. So what I'm saying is, don't think that the police don't know what they're doing, especially in cybercrimes. They have a really legit advanced cybercrimes unit, and they know their stuff there. Okay, so that's one point. Now, back to your point about changing the rules, right? So we talk about Mancom, right? And we talked about how Mancom said, oh, things that are outside, we cannot do anything. It sounds silly. It sounds like, we can't do anything. It's like we're so powerless. My concern about that is it might be like a measured statement to become an impetus for rules to be changed. And rules can be changed both in two ways, right? It could be, we could be like, okay, we are still liberal and still have open internet and no censorship.
Yep.
But we put in laws in place to make sure that certain things don't go through.
Yep.
Okay? Or it could be like, okay, for us to be able to control content from overseas, we need to put censorship in. So it could be, in theory, an impetus to change the rule in a way that it becomes very restrictive. So, so we have to be careful about that.
Of course, we need to be careful of that. So, this, of course, any good rule can be misused as a weapon, right? So, because the reason why I'm saying that is because, like, stuff like, for example, clearly scam ads, like the platform knows it, we all know it, but nothing's been done. Simple stuff like that. And what Indonesia has done, which is pretty extreme, is that they force all the online and digital platforms to sign into this registration platform, where if you're part of this list, right, you have to take down content, urgent content, within like 12 hours. If the government said, okay, this is offensive, this is like a scam ad, you must take it down within this certain hours. And initially, Facebook and Google, they were hesitant to sign up, and eventually they did, because they were this close of being banned in whole Indonesia.
I think
a bit extreme.
I think you're right in a way that we must hold the social media platforms accountable for things that go on the platform. Because it is their product, right? Content that goes on the platform is bait for other people to go on their platforms, and that's when they sell the attention to advertisers. So we are helping them. They are endeared to us, because if we stop creating content on their platform, or if we start going to TikTok, for example, then they lose. So the authorities in Malaysia should be able to understand that is the leverage that they have, and they need to be able to put in controls in place to optimize that leverage. Like how I think the best people that regulate online and digital matters are the European Union. They are very strong in terms of European and Australian authorities. They're very strong in, but you cannot do this or you cannot do that. Or they even forced Apple to start using USB-C in their next phones. So I think we have that power. It's just whether the government wants to do it lah. Hopefully the next government that's going to happen lah.
And like for me, it's being fair lah. Like for example, the Communication Multimedia Act, like all of us in Malaysia, right, all content creators in Malaysia, we are bound to the same rules. If we do run scam ads on our platform, we'll be ordered to take it down immediately, and we could potentially be penalized. But why not platforms that's hosted overseas? It should be fair for everyone, not just for Malaysians, but also for platforms hosted overseas. So let's have the fair enforcement.
Another law could be like have data that's published in Malaysia, host in Malaysia, and I'm sure there are data lakes in Malaysia that host content or Facebook content. I know that for a fact Google has data centers here that they're using Malaysia data centers. Those content is hosted here, and I know for a fact that they're not just hosting Malaysian content; they're hosting the regions content. So there are methods in place, and for Mancom to say, I mean the caretaker Mancom, Anwar Musa, to say that we can't do anything about content that is hosted outside of Malaysia is partially right and partially wrong, because most of the content, like for example this May 13 content, is created in Malaysia, posted in Malaysia, should probably be hosted in Malaysia, and can be taken action on.
So incoming Mancom, maybe by the time this release we know who it is. Take note, this one of your top 10 lists.
I mean, if you want, we're more than happy to meet up with you. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. So we started with the question, it has TikTok done enough? Based on what we know and what we've our analysis, I think TikTok is doing a good job. What went through the filter really went through the filter. It's something that's innocent. I'm not to say innocent, it's something that they didn't foresee. More so than Facebook. Despite, repeated warnings or repeated alerts or repeated information provided even by us to them, they do nothing about it. So that's pretty much it. I guess this is my cue for me to remind you that we're available on podcast. So if you want to listen to us, We are available. Just search for Soy Chin Chow, Let's Talk About, and we're available on anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And share your thoughts and comments about what we talked about today. And let us know what other things you'd like us to talk about. If you are listening to us on podcasts, you can also share your thoughts via voice note. Drop us a voice note at
Let's talk about at soyachinchow.com.
and we'll be more than happy to hear from you guys. All right, so this is me, Amin.
This is Alex.
Catch you guys later.
Bye.